afternoon celebration. We'll have free food, gourmet desserts, and refreshing drinks to keep you satisfied. But that's not all. We want you to prepare to be blown away by our lineup of live entertainment featuring Joe Davis, Tanya Hughes, Desdemona, and yours truly, Latunji, and more. Plus, we'll have a special appearance from WCCO's Shayla Reeves, and we have special vendor rates for anyone looking to help their business or nonprofit gain more visibility. For more info on that, 612-382-2021. That's the 5-year anniversary of Latunji's Palette and the Elliott Park Block Party, Saturday, August 12th from noon to 5. Details at latunjispalette.com.
AM 950's newest weeknight show, Ghostbox Radio, is giving away passes to the advanced screening of The Legend of Dracula is Born, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. The advanced screening is on Wednesday, August 9th at AMC in Rosedale. Tune in or watch Ghostbox Radio live on Facebook tonight at 10 for your chance to win. Join host Greg Bakken every weeknight for his great insight and riveting guests as he steps into the unknown. Ghostbox Radio Live, weeknights, 10 o'clock on AM 950.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies tonight with a low around 70, Thursday sunny with a high near 91, and Friday partly cloudy with a high around 86. Get a taste of authentic Szechuan and Mandarin cuisine at the Great Wall Restaurant. From hot and sour soup to Peking duck, they've got all of your favorites covered. Conveniently located just south of 50th and France in Edina, order for takeout or view the full menu at GreatWallEdina.com. That's GreatWallEdina.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken.
And this is Ghostbox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakken, and thank you very much for joining me tonight. If you were able to go out to Anoka tonight for Ghost Stories and Beyond, it was quite the fun evening, and I do recommend that the first Wednesday of every month, if you're able to do so, if you're local to the Twin Cities, come on out, join us at Billy's, and just join in the conversation. It was just a great conversation about about some of our adventures, other people's adventures. We're talking about ufology. We're talking about all sorts of stuff. It was a lot of fun tonight. I'm hoping that we get more people next month. And then we also have special guests. We'll talk about that in a little bit for the September Ghost Stories and Beyond. It's a lot of fun. I would love to have you all join us. Tonight, I'm really excited. I have a couple good friends with me. We're over the last couple days, it's great how radio works. Things change, right? So last night, we're supposed to do a show. We had some issues over here, so we couldn't do a show, which was fine because we couldn't get our guest on last night anyway. Nothing to do with the station or anything. It just is how it went. And then tonight we were going to do one question readings, and our medium fell through. And even though our guest tonight is a medium, we're not asking her to do one question readings. We're just having a great conversation. Now, also, back in the day when I was doing my week shows during every Sunday, my tagline would be, welcome to Ghostbox Radio, where every week we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and the unusual. Well, tonight we also, along with Shar, we do have the unusual as we bring in Ernie Pack as well. And I just got to say, first of all, I'm looking over at the comments section. There's just a whole lot of hellos and stuff going on over there. But also, Ernie and Shar, welcome to Ghostbox Radio.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you.
It's great to have you both on here. We joke around a lot, Ernie, you and I, but I really always enjoy having you on, our conversations, what we have to talk about and stuff. But I do have to say one thing. When I was at yours and Denise's house, I left behind a chunky bar, the chunky chocolate bar. I would like you to return it to me, please. Please send it to me. I don't want it melted. It wasn't open. So, it's just one of those things that happens. Can you please send it to Minnesota? Thank you.
No, it's gone. Denise ate it. It's gone. Sorry. You're just going to have to come back to town and run up to the store and get you another one.
And Denise says it has raisins in it. I guess is that meaning that she likes raisins or she doesn't like?
There's a vomit face behind that. If you can see.
I can't see it. I can't see it on where I'm at. You threw it away. Oh my goodness. So anyway, this is not setting a good tone for the episode tonight. I'm just going to be honest. But that's okay. We'll just let it go for now.
We'll get past that, Greg.
I'm sure I'm never going to bring it up again. But now, Shar, how did you think Ghost Stories went tonight?
I thought it was really good. It was a lot of fun. Some really good stories. We shared some good stories. I think we kind of left people a little speechless when we started talking about Fort Duffield.
Well, when I started talking about Ernie, people thought I was talking about Bigfoot, and they got confused a little bit.
They just thought you were name dropping.
I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. I really appreciate it. But no, I think that in all honesty, though, we as Shar saying, as I rudely interrupted her, you were saying that we were talking about Fort Duffield. Yes.
I'm like, I'm supposed to talk now.
I find more and more that I have to explain to people how interviews work. But that's totally cool. This is only live radio, so
I know. No, yes, we were talking about Fort Duffield and our experiences there, and of course Denise and Ernie, and it was amazing. And I really didn't. I just started talking about places that we'd been that we really liked, and I was like, wow, one place that I thought really blew me away was Fort Duffield, and I kind of really wasn't going to go much into it because we were kind of on a roll about talking about places, but then it just kind of spiraled into everything that happened. And then of course it ended up being the whole entire visit that we were there about everything we did. And it was really fascinating and cool. And it was, at first I was kind of looking around the room and I'm like, are they okay? And that they were all into it. So it was fun.
They were, and it's interesting, Ernie, because we have told this now story, and so we're not going to tell the story again tonight. We're going to talk about Fort Duffield, but we've already talked about it on the show. We've talked about it twice at Ghost Stories, but the point is, even when we talked about it again tonight, people had questions. The people who heard it before were interested in it, and they had questions about what had happened when we had seen Bigfoot, when we had seen the apparitions, all the stuff that we've experienced with you and Denise. People just love it. Ernie, can you tell us in your own words, what is Fort Duffield, please?
Well, Fort Duffield is a Civil War fort. It's an earthen fort. When people hear about a fort, they think of, like wooden walls and all of that. This is not that. It is dirt walls. And there are just a few reconstructed cabins up there. Mm-hmm. The fort sits on the peak of one hill, and then 400 or 500 yards away on another peak, there's a memorial cemetery where there once was a mass grave for those who had died at the fort. And it's on the top of this hill in a very remote area. And when we first started hosting the private overnights up there, the paranormal investigations, we weren't thinking anything about Bigfoot or anything like that. And we weren't even sure that the fort itself was going to have a lot of activity. We had experienced a few things up there, but nothing, mind-blowing or anything. And then as you know, there's a little bit of everything going on up there, and it is a very active location.
And to your point, it was the first time that you and Denise really investigated it in any way with Shar, Kim, and myself being up there. Am I correct?
Yeah. We had gone up there and done some little impromptu things and walked around with some folks and shown them the place and spent a little time just, quietly observing and trying to feel the place out a little bit.
Yeah.
But as far as actually, breaking out any equipment, spending any amount of time actually focusing on investigating, that was the first time we had done it. And well, I mean, the results were kind of mind blowing.
Truly mind blowing. I mean, and I always feel like I have to preface this because people probably don't know when I'm giving you shtick or what, right? And when I say it was truly mind blowing, I mean, we all had a combined profound moment, I think, when we were up at the fort, because there is a moment, and actually, Shar, why don't you explain, if you wouldn't mind, the big reveal down the path the three of us are watching.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy, and quite honestly, it's been 2 months, and I still go, what happened? So as far as mind blowing, even when we were telling it again tonight, I was like, I still can't wrap my head around it. But there is a moment where, and it's kind of funny because I was trying to say I don't know where Denise was, because Denise just goes, and she was like everywhere. So at some point she was off somewhere, which is amazing, and I love that.
Yep.
But it was Ernie, me, and you standing like literally like side by side, and we had seen something or felt like something was happening kind of down at the bottom, and we kind of were just looking in the same spot. We all knew where something was happening, and it's just like from outside the trees, just this shadow figure, humanoid shadow figure, super tall, super big, and then just stepped out, and we all three of us at the same time, our arms all went up at the same time, and we pointed, and It was like, holy crap. And it was so cool that all three of us, without saying one word, pointed in the exact same direction. It was like confirmation that, yep, this is happening. And Denise said she was behind us. That's great, because I
guess that, to me, I mean, seeing the Bigfoot down the path there was pretty incredible. But for some reason, us all three pointing at the same time just was, I mean, it's almost like just that shared moment that we all saw it. And as you said, Shar, that there was no there was no communication. No one was saying, "Oh, look over there, I think something might be happening." It was literally like, and just, it was so exciting. And yes, as Denise says, that she was behind us, and we know that she saw it. And there was that point too, that Denise went down that path after we've kind of been walking around and stuff, and all these like shadows were coming up out of the ground and sort of like surrounding her and stuff, which was pretty incredible.
There just was so much. It was so much happening in such a short period of time. And I think the coolest part about it was because Denise and Ernie hadn't really done a lot there, that their excitement was so all in with us as well. And it was so fun to like be a part of that with you guys. And I'm so grateful for that. But it was so much fun to watch you guys be super excited about it too. It wasn't like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. It was like, you guys were like, wah!
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, we didn't know what to expect with Fort Duffield. It was kind of an unknown even to us.
Yeah.
And so when that happened, I mean, we were just as giddy as you guys or anybody else would be, because it was new to us too. It was a totally unexpected moment that was genuine. And like we've pointed out many times, I mean, our reaction, all of us just raised our arms and pointed at the same time. Like if you watch a car race or something and there's a wreck on the backstretch, you'll see everybody jump up and point to the backstretch at one point, and that's kind of how we all just at one time were like, oh, and it was a full moon that night.
Yeah, that's right.
And this area was right there across from where the mass grave is where this thing had come out. And it's clear right there. There's an opening in the trees where that moonlight was beaming in there, lighting it up like daylight pretty much. And this thing walked out there so clearly that you could see the moonlight shining off its hair.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just an incredible experience.
It was like that clearing was just lit up by the moon, and it was like the spotlight. It was just like illuminating that area, and it was the perfect thing to happen, because it was, I don't know if we would have seen it if there wasn't that lighting there, but it was so cool. And I love too that because you guys hadn't been there, there was no expectations, and we all went in with such a clear, open mind. And I think that was key to having so many things happen.
I think absolutely. I think any place you go, anytime you're investigating, and this can be a lesson for new people in the field. You need to open your mind to any possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, from Bigfoot to spirit activity to UFOs to fairies. We can talk about that too. Anything. These things that aren't supposed to exist, I've seen so much of it in my time, and I know you guys have too, that I don't deny anything until I have legitimate factual evidence that it is fake or does not exist, because I've seen so many things that are just not supposed to exist. But the energy you bring has a lot to do with what you actually experience.
And I think it's also worthwhile saying that at least for myself, and Ernie, I'm sure you've gone on much more, from that time in early June to now, I've gone on about 10 investigations, and I'm still talking about that night and the night afterwards. Those are the ones that I just keep coming back to. Nothing bad about the other investigations, but those 2 nights were life altering for me.
Mm-hmm.
And getting back to the energy that you bring.
Yeah.
I think, when Denise and I investigate with our good friends Todd and Leanne Eskew and Squatch Man, we share a like energy. And I think you guys, fit that same bubble that I'm talking about of energy. And we seem to have crazy experiences, and people look at us like we got 2 heads when we start talking about our experiences. But I firmly believe it's just the circle of people and that combined energy that we emit that helps us have these crazy experiences.
Absolutely.
So why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's take our first break. When we come back, Ernie has an event coming up. Shar has an event coming up. We got more stuff to talk about. We have tickets to get away. I want to get to some of the comments in the comments section. We have a lot going on here. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with MetamorphosisConnections.com. MetamorphosisConnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search MetamorphosisConnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on MetamorphosisConnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting MetamorphosisConnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's MetamorphosisConnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
AM 950's newest weeknight show, Ghostbox Radio, is giving away passes to the advanced screening of The Legend of Dracula is Born, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. The advanced screening is on Wednesday, August 9th at AMC in Rosedale. Tune in or watch Ghostbox Radio live on Facebook tonight at 10 for your chance to win. Join host Greg Bakken every weeknight for his great insight and riveting guests as he steps into the unknown. Ghostbox Radio Live, weeknights, 10 o'clock on AM 950.
Hi, this is Philip Anthony, the host of the Downright Upright Show, the place to go to hear out loud and proud what Minnesotans are thinking. I interview many interesting people and listen to their thoughts on how they plan to better our community and to hear their opinions on current events. Join us and get in on the conversation. You can listen to my podcast, The Downright Upright Show with Philip Anthony, wherever you listen to podcasts or at am950radio.com. So come and join me and continue being fantabulous.
And welcome back to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950. My name is Greg Bakken. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We have a fun show tonight. I mean, we've had some heavier topics over the last couple weeks, and we're just going to kind of play it a little bit more fun. Even though the stuff that Shar and Ernie are talking about tonight, there's some very serious stuff. There's going to be some events that we're talking about and stuff, but we're good friends. We like to have a little bit of fun. So I just wanted to, have a good night tonight. And I wanted to get through some of the comments that we have that's on there. We're not taking calls tonight, but if you are watching on any of the Facebook Lives that we're doing, you can go ahead, leave a comment. This one, of course, you got to share something like this. Best podcast for my morning drive to work. I did wonder, were we talking about me, or is there another one that Alejandro has been listening to? Andrew is saying that that basically you're all heathens. Chocolate raisins are the best. I am not a heathen. I've asked for my chunky bar back. I don't think I'm going to get it. It's very, very, very simple. Nicole with the cutting. I'll send you $1 so you can replace it. I mean, that's hurtful because, and I'll tell you why that's hurtful, because we do not have chunky bars in Minnesota. So that's, I bought 2 in good faith that I didn't realize that my property would be stolen in their house. But, whatever else. Now, we're going to get to this in a second, Ernie and Shar, but read Denise's comment. And does this not just scream her voice? Tell about the flowers, Ernie. I could just hear her voice when she says that. And one of the things, why don't we do this too? Shar is answering questions in the comments, but the way we're going to do the Shar is we're going to ask them on the air so that you can answer them on the air. It's like you've never guest hosted this show before or something.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's been a long day.
I did a lot of thinking at ghost stories, and my brain is kind of like, whoa.
It was very, very interesting. Before we get to some of the questions, Ernie, why don't you tell us a little bit about your event you have this weekend?
Okay, this weekend we have, we're calling it Spirits, Squatches, and Stories Around the Campfire at Fort Duffield. We're going to talk about the hauntings there. We're going to talk about the Bigfoot activity that we've all experienced, along with some of the stories that we've gotten from some locals. Since this all came out that we have activity up there, some people have actually come out of the woodwork and said, well, yeah, we've had experiences too. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we're just going to tell some stories. We're going to have Todd Leannescu from the Black Wolf Paranormal, Greg Yost, the one and only Squatch Man, and Denise and myself. And the 5 of us are great friends, just like we are with you guys. And like I said, we've got that same kind of energy. Todd and Leanne worked with us at Waverly Hills for a while. They've been hosts at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. They're currently hosting investigations at the Bell Witch Cave in Tennessee. They've done a lot of different locations where they've been hosts and guest hosts and things like that. And Squatchman is he's one of a kind. He's a Bigfooter that looks like he's part of the Bigfoot family. He's about 6'5", 6'6", got a beard about 6'3".
Yep.
And he's just a one of a kind individual. I can't really explain him. You just got to meet Squatchman or hear him talk.
And just enjoy it, right? Just enjoy the presence of Squatch.
Yeah, just go with it. I mean, he says some things that you might be, it might, perk your ears up like, what is he talking about? But just go with it because the guy delivers. Greg, you can attest you had a life-changing experience back there by the gifting stump with him that night.
I sure did.
And
yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. But we're gonna have a cookout. We're gonna gather around the campfire, tell some stories. Then we're gonna do some Bigfooting and we're gonna do some ghost hunting, a little bit of both. So I think it's gonna be a good time. Tickets are only $50 each. It runs from 8 o'clock until 3 in the morning. And it's, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it because, like I say, the 5 of us together, it's going to be a good time, period. And our energy that we bring to investigations, the 5 of us, it could be a really, really epic night activity-wise, too. So excited to show some new people around the fort and let them see what we've got up there and see what happens.
One of the things we didn't really talk about, because it was on the other side of where we were during this experience with the Bigfoot Squatch coming out from the bushes, was when we were actually at the fort and we're sitting and we heard one growl.
Yeah.
Do you, and not to put you on the spot, are you able to replicate that growl?
No. I cannot. This is radio, so I'll make an attempt. It wasn't an aggressive growl, but it was like, ugh. Just that's right. Just like, what are you guys doing here? Kind of, it's kind of inquisitive, actually. Really, is what I got from it.
What did you think, Shar, when you heard that?
Man.
Not just now. I mean, back at.
Oh.
She said, "Meh."
Oh, that's not it at all.
it was one of those things where we were kind of talking in a conversation, and it was loud enough that it stopped all of us from talking, and we paid attention, and it was so like what. Like nothing I'd ever heard. I mean, obviously I've never heard Squatch before that. So it was like, that's not an animal. That's something completely different. And it almost it seemed like it was far enough off in the distance, but close enough that it almost felt like you could feel the vibration of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it seemed to almost be like interjecting in our conversation, if that makes sense. Like it was a response to us being there. That's kind of what I was getting.
Yeah. It almost felt like, hey, we were having fun. What are you doing over here?
Yeah. Yeah. Why'd you leave?
Yeah.
And as Denise reminds in the chat that we smelled candy as soon as we went over to the fort side. And it was I mean, the way I looked at it, was like, to me, it felt like smelled like it would have been candy from the time. And you might be like, well, Greg, were you around in the 1860s? No, I wasn't. But obviously, like around here, we have a place called Fort Snelling, which is also a fort from that period of time. And they would recreate a lot of the stuff that they'd have back then. That's the sort of smell. What do you think, Shar?
Yeah. And didn't we determine that the candy from that time era was like Necco wafers? And I actually found them, and I smelt the package. I didn't buy them because I'm not going to eat them, but
no one bought them.
No, but I smelt the package, and I'm like, that could be it. That literally could be it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was almost like a licorice type smell, just a hint of that, but it was a different smell. I don't know. It was hard to explain.
And they're kind of like really large, like Smarties, and so they each have kind of like a different flavor to them. And so it was a combo smell, and so that's where I was kind of like, yep, I kind of feel like this is it, because we couldn't pinpoint it smelled like this, but it smelled like this, and it smelled like this. It was this combo, and it was that combo package. You could get that.
Yeah.
So before we go any further, because I want to get to some of the questions, Shar, since we have you on here right now, can you tell us about what you have coming up Friday, please?
Oh, so Friday, my partner with my office, Sandy Stangler, we have a psychic gallery on Friday night at 6 p.m. You can get tickets at charvinity.com. It is an in-person event, and there's seating is limited because it's a smaller space, so we still have a few tickets left.
And you can get that through Charvinity, as you said. And that's going to be really, I mean, they're always really good from what you're telling me. And I'm planning on hopefully coming out to the one on Friday. What you're telling me is that these often have some pretty interesting things happen. I'm trying not to oversell it, because I mean, it changes from month to month, but I mean, it always sounds very interesting and well worth the time to do if you're interested in doing that.
Yeah, it's always been a good time, and it's kind of it's like 2 hours long, and where we're channeling loved one. I know it's not an English class, but we are channeling loved ones for the people that are there and whoever might be coming through. And sometimes we get some pretty interesting people that come through.
So definitely check it out. And you do it every month, like the first Friday of every month. Mm-hmm. So if you are interested, but you can't do it, just know and go to Charvinity on Facebook and like that page, because you're going to have updates about it on that page, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. I'm better at Facebook than anything.
So yeah, definitely go and check it out. And even if you aren't interested in the galleries, go and like Char's page, Charvinity. Also, please go and like Hauntings of Fort Duffield Facebook page. Even if you're like, well, I'm not going to get out to Kentucky anytime soon, it doesn't matter, because Ernie, you're posting stuff. If stuff is happening there that's of interest, you're going to post. I mean, and I know I'm talking about events, but I'm also talking about like cool paranormal stuff, right?
Oh yeah. We've gotten one phenomenal photo so far from up there of a full-bodied apparition of a soldier. We posted that. We posted a few things that we thought, might be paranormal. We went back and debunked some of it. We're not the kind that are just going to, jump to the conclusion that everything's paranormal. So we went back and debunked a couple of the images as being tree stumps or pareidolia or something to that effect. But anytime we get evidence from up there, we'll post it and share it out, and we'll talk about experiences that folks have up there. So it's worth. We try to keep the page something on there every day. Sometimes we might go a day or two without having anything to post, but we try to keep it rolling along and trying to grow that membership. I think we're up over, or at least in the neighborhood of 600 members right now. It's a Facebook group, not page, so you have to join, but it's not one of those that you got to answer 50 questions to get in or anything like that. Just click on it and join. But
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I just thought your sentence was eventually going to end, and I was mistaken.
I'm good at run-on sentences, Greg. You know that.
Yeah, I do.
No, we're really excited. We got a lot of things going on with the fort. We finally got business cards printed out. We've got some little flyers that are in the works. We've got a banner. We've got, we're starting to get our feet on the ground as a haunted location, and just trying to get the word out to as many people as we can.
About that banner. The banner doesn't quite look like the one that I created for you, but that's okay, Ernie. That's fine.
Well, the one that you created for me, I actually sent that image to the banner company. Mm-hmm. They sent me that banner, and it was so pixelated and fuzzy that they sent me another. I said, that's not working, and they said, well, the image you sent is not of the right resolution. Although I had asked the designer twice if he had the proper resolution.
And I did do the proper resolution. The problem is that the source material that you had given me were the size of a fingernail, and you have to blow that up. And I asked for better quality, imagery, and you didn't know what that meant. And that was, one of those things that, you just have to deal with clients that, you have to tell them what a computer is, let alone, the imagery. So
it's okay. I'm going to, from in the future, I'm going to just send stuff directly to Char, because she actually does seem to know what she's doing.
Char does seem to know what she's doing. She had just done, and I'm going to say so because she never toots her own horn there, but she just did a magazine for Maria Shaw for her event, which I was able to see, and that is very nice. That is very nice. That was a nice job, Char.
Well, thank you.
And I'm assuming that you had imagery that was bigger than a postage stamp that you didn't have to blow up to the size of a billboard to be able to make it work. So that's how that works, Ernie.
Somehow it was the same image that you got that I used to create this one, and it's actually pretty nice.
It can't be. It just can't be.
This bromance is hard.
Yeah. And I was going to say also that you're talking about pictures and stuff, Ernie, and it's like, well, you sent me a picture, but it wasn't paranormal in nature. So, I mean, it might be. I don't know.
I'm surprised you don't have it with you.
It should be like on. I mean, there's enough weird stuff on the walls here in the station that, I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, that picture is awesome. Folks who've watched Ghostbox Live, they've seen that many times, I'm sure, because Greg pulls it out and kisses it every show.
I don't kiss it. I don't do that. But I certainly love it and respect it. It's one of my most cherished items, and I'm just going through some of the comments in the comment section. It's what you'd expect. So with that being said, I want to ask a question, and then I want to give away some tickets for those locally. Unfortunately, I only have tickets for people local to the Twin Cities. Let me get back to one real fast. Andrew had a question. He had a couple questions, a couple really good questions. But one of the questions he asked is, did you ever feel like you or the others were in danger? And I'm taking that as the experience that we were talking about. And Shar, I'd like you to go first, please.
Never. I mean, there was a part where I think it was just so overwhelming and not sure what to do with it. I didn't feel like so much I was in danger, just of like, I think I was just like stunned and unable to move at one point, where it was just like, I don't know how to process this. I don't know what to do with this. And, but I didn't feel like we were going to be attacked, if that makes sense. So,
no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and Ernie, I'm kind of the same, right?
Yeah. It was a new experience for you guys. As far as I know, that was your first Bigfoot encounter.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And my first Bigfoot encounter was very similar. Actually, at first, I actually pulled a 45 and stepped behind the van the first time we had one close to us. We had seen one at a distance another time, and I felt pretty uneasy at that point. But Denise and I were at another location once and had one running up the hill at us. And I stepped over behind the van and pulled a 45 and was like ready to, defend myself. Well, Denise ran right down the hill toward it, of course. But after, experiencing them several times now and learning from Squatchman what they're really about and what kind of beings they are, they're not this big, huge ape that's a flesh and blood creature that wants to rip you to shreds. They're more of an energy being. I feel very comfortable every time we encounter them. And it's actually, from the next night up there with Squatchman in Indiana at the other forest, they are very gentle. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll actually share their energy with you if you need it.
I think it was just more like that was our first time, so we're like, well, what do we do with this? Like, we didn't know, it was a first experience. So yeah, it was probably more startling and not knowing how to process through it and what to do with it. And, where do we go from here? It was like a whole combination of stuff, but I didn't feel threatened. I think I was just extremely overwhelmed and not knowing what to do with that because I'd never experienced it before.
And I do think, and speaking for myself only, when you're just out there and there are woods to your right and you're taking steps and there's something in the woods that is mimicking your steps. When you stop, it stops. When you start up again, it starts up again. I mean, the unknown can be frightening, and it's
be unnerving. Yes,
and unnerving, and it's that. I think that really is what it comes down to. At least for me, is that that's the only thing. But when we were at the other location with Greg, we kind of fanned out a little bit. Nobody was like, we got to stick together, and just because you never know what's going to happen. It was very casual. It was very easy to do. So why don't we do this, my friends? I'm gonna take another break here because we got some questions in the chat I want to get to for Shar and for Ernie. But also, before we go to break, I want to let everyone know I'm giving away tickets to The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is Universal Pictures' new film. It comes out, I think, in September, but we have an advanced screening on August 9th at the AMC Rosedale. So that means if you want to have a chance to win passes, you do need to be local to the Twin Cities. Go ahead, if you are listening, if there's any local folks listening, put Dracula into the chat. And if we get a number of them, we'll pick one. And the passes is for 2 people to go see the film. So you and a friend can go see the film. So definitely go and check it out. And we're going to give those away. We'll if we have people ready to take those at the end of the show, we'll let you know. Otherwise, we're going to continue our conversation with Shar and Ernie. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
If you own a holistic or metaphysical business and are looking to expand, then you need to be listed on metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. Metamorphosisconnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit metamorphosisconnections.com and sign up today.
AM 950's newest weeknight show, Ghostbox Radio, is giving away passes to the advanced screening of The Legend of Dracula is Born, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. The advanced screening is on Wednesday, August 9th at AMC in Rosedale. Tune in or watch Ghostbox Radio live on Facebook tonight at 10 for your chance to win. Join host Greg Bakken every weeknight for his great insight and riveting guests as he steps into the unknown. Ghostbox Radio Live, weeknights, 10 o'clock on AM 950.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies tonight with a low around 70, Thursday sunny with a high near 91, and Friday partly cloudy with a high around 86.
Get paid to upgrade. Warner Stellian will buy your appliance for $50 during our trade-in sale. No one else saves you more time from shopping to free professional delivery like Warner Stellian. Put us to the test. Shop Minnesota family-owned WarnerStellian.com.
And join us tomorrow on Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken. We're going to have on good friend, and I know Ernie knows her, Miranda Young. Miranda is co-owner of a historic Scott County Jail. She's an artist, photographer. She's a biker. She also is founder of Ghost Biker Explorations. She is very good at what she does. She's very enjoyable to listen to, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then Friday, we're going to do Casual Friday. Though, to be honest, I'm not quite sure how much more casual, my friends, it can get than tonight. It's been pretty casual over here.
Well,
yeah,
that's because Shar and I are just cool.
Well, you two are cool. I mean, we joke around, but I mean, I really enjoy when we're able to chat and catch up on stuff. And I just think that, it's really good. And hopefully, Ernie, that we get some folks to check out your Facebook page, Hauntings of Fort Duffield. And if they can't make the event this weekend, there's going to be more. So definitely check it out. I see Jeremy York, on here saying that their group is going to be doing an investigation over there. So that's really exciting. I mean, folks, from seeing it firsthand, this is a really fun place and it was very active and very it was just a unique experience. Shar, right? It's just there isn't really. I know there's places like it in Minnesota to a certain extent, but not like a earthen fort, and just it's wonderful.
You got all the history there and everything. Even West Point is an amazing little historic town. It's got so much to show and tell. So, I mean, there was just so many layers to it. That was so cool. And I mean, let's be honest, Denise and Ernie, you can't get anything better than those two.
No, absolutely. I'm going to go to the comments here. And Nicole had a question for Miss Shar. Has Shar ever been through a season where her mediumship abilities go into hibernation?
Oh, well, I'm not sure if you mean like a whole season or just a part, a time. There's times where things don't work. I tried to do a gallery during an eclipse when it was Mercury retrograde, and I'm a Virgo, and I literally stood there and just stared at people, like everything shut down. So yes, there are times where that does happen, but I don't know. It just does its thing.
It has to be sometimes difficult when something like that happens, because it is like, what do I do? Right. I mean, it's just,
yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's like, it's weird. Like, you don't know what to do with it. You're like, and hi, it just doesn't work.
No. And, I don't know. One thing I did wonder about, Ernie, is Smokey the Bear going to be at the Fort Duffield event?
He is not welcome to any of our events. After the way I was dissed as a 12 or 13-year-old Boy Scout by Smokey the Bear, he is not welcome to any event that I'm a part of.
I'm sorry.
But we will have a campfire, and it will be done safely without his interference.
Well, that's what he's known for, is interfering in people's
That's all he
lives.
does.
So, yeah, no, absolutely. Now, Ernie, we have about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And I feel like I have to preface that to you. We have 10 minutes. Why don't we talk about the experience that you and Denise had on Saturday night, if you're willing to share, and at your, first of all, beautiful house, but also very haunted house. And also, folks, you got to understand, the house is so haunted that when the air conditioning comes on, it sounds like drums of the American Revolution going into battle. We just heard it before the show started. I've never heard anything like it before, and I thought that we were being transported back to 1770s, and we're all ready to get our muskets out and fight for this country.
Yes,
so
the redcoats were coming.
It was pretty amazing, actually.
Okay, well, for those who don't know, Denise and I recently bought and moved into the Ditto House Inn, which was built in 1841. It served as a Civil War hospital. It's been an inn. It's been a bed and breakfast. It's been many things over the years. And there's some places that have it listed as the most haunted house in Kentucky. Well, the other night we had a thunderstorm that rolled through, and Denise and I went out back and sat on the back porch and watched the storm come across the river and watched the lightning in the sky. It was great. I mean, it was really cool. And so we came in the house after the storm, and the house just had this different feel to it. It was charged. It was just energized. That's all I can say. And it was darker than usual in the house. We both commented on that. And so anyway, we decided, well, let's go dark for a while. Let's turn out all the lights and set up some equipment and see what happens. So we did. We put out a flashlight. We still are believers in flashlight communication, despite all the naysayers about that. We've had some great experiences that we can't debunk. But we set out a REM pod that was custom made by Brad Webb of Crack Skull Paranormal. And we started asking some questions. And we did this went on for about 10 minutes. At one point, we had done an EVP session, which we did get an EVP during that EVP session, where we simply hear a female voice say, "Ditto," said the name of the house. And so anyway, we turned the lights back on. I walked over to pick up the REM, or to turn the REM pod off, which had not gone off. But somehow, right there, 20 feet from where Denise and I were standing, watching it, waiting for it to light up or go off, there was a handful of flowers from our crepe myrtle tree that's in the front yard that had been placed very purposefully right there in front of the REM pod. They were still wet from the rain that had just rolled through.
Wow.
And they were not there before. I mean, they just appeared. Wow. And we were kind of blown away by it. I mean, I reached out to you. I reached out to Brandon Alvis. I reached out to Jeremy York. Several of our friends, we've talked to them about it and asked if they have any ideas. And what Shar said earlier before we went live about, just using some interdimensional portal or something to transport these items through a wall or through a closed door is the only answer she can come up with. And I agree.
Yeah, that's incredible. And, it's funny because, to a lot of people, they'd be like, holy cow, oh my goodness. And meanwhile, the packs are like, yeah, we call this a Saturday night. But at the same time, I mean, you both were kind of like, what is happening here? Because have you had this in the house so far where it is something has come from outside and appeared inside the house?
Well, we have rocks that appear in the house. There's a book that's written about this town, about the hauntings of this town, where they actually talk about children that for years have been reported to play with rocks on the stairs, the spirits of children. And we have found rocks randomly around the house at different times since we moved in that we don't know how they got there. But rocks could be just stashed around the house and then placed there without coming in from the outside, if that makes sense.
Yep.
These flowers were still wet and still fresh, still intact. They weren't wadded up or, wilted or anything. They were just like new, fresh as a daisy, as Doc Holliday would say. I mean, they were fine. And, it was just incredible. We did not expect that at all. I mean, I turned the light on. I walked over to the REM pod and I was like, Denise, look at this. Look. And so there it was. I mean, it was just one of those experiences that you cannot explain, that you cannot. I mean, we know because we were the only two around that there was no one else that possibly could have brought that in. And we were right there. No, the door never opened. No one came in that room, but there they were.
Now, we're turning to the serious corner of Ghostbox Radio, as when you're talking about the rocks, Nicole wanted to let you know that they're trying to tell you that you rock by filling
Nicole,
your house.
I appreciate that. Tell Greg that. Greg doesn't seem to understand just how awesome I am.
No, I do. I wake up every morning just like I have a little, Ernie altar. That's what it's called, an Ernie altar. And I just, thank whoever that you are in West Point, Kentucky. So, and not in the Twin Cities.
Thank you.
So, Shar, have you had that where you're glad that Ernie is not in Minnesota? No, I'm just kidding. But where? Oh, see, of course, Shar's just like, oh, don't pick on him. Where you've had it, where something has like moved from either room to room or come outside and shown up inside.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to work at a haunted hotel, and stuff would move all the time, and it would go into rooms where it had been locked and nobody had been in. There'd be times where I would be the only one there doing housekeeping. I would clean a room, and my thing was to shut the doors when I was done, so those rooms were done. And I'd shut one room, and I realized I forgot to go in to bring extra like toilet paper or whatever it was into the room, and I opened it up, and there was a ball in the middle of the floor that I had just vacuumed, and like a big ball that the kids would play with. And I'm like, there's that no that shouldn't be here. Like, I just vacuumed the floor. There's nowhere that came from. And it's stuff like that would happen all the time. And oddly enough, the one that would do it the most was the Scooby-Doo stuffed animal, which I thought was pretty ironic and funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's really neat. And before, because we're a couple minutes away from wrapping up, I want to make sure people remember what we've been talking about here. There is an event this weekend at Fort Duffield. Even though if you're in the Twin Cities and you may not be able to make it down to West Point, Kentucky on such short notice, I do ask that you go to Facebook and still like the page Hauntings of Fort Duffield. There's going to be all sorts of information, and it's just a really cool piece of history, and that Ernie and Denise are turning into something really pretty special. So please do that. And then for Char, please make sure to go to charvinity.com to see what's going on there. She has a shop there, but also go to Facebook and go like Charvinity as well. And there is the Psychic Medium Gallery on Friday, and you get tickets for that through Charvinity. Both of you, I mean, thank you so very much for being on with me tonight. I know that this was all last minute, but I hope that, Ernie, even though we rib each other, I hope you still had some fun.
Oh, it's always a good time talking to you guys. I mean, you're like family. I wish you guys could make it down this weekend, honestly.
Oh, right? Wouldn't that be?
Do it. Just do it.
Just do it. Just put aside everything else we have going on and let's just go. Yeah,
exactly. Why not?
So I guess there won't be a gallery for Char on Friday because she's going to be driving out. No, I'm just kidding. But
right.
And then Char, of course, as always, thank you so very much for joining us last minute as well. I love the dynamic of all of us talking. Next time, hopefully we can get Denise to join us as well. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time. I love talking to you guys, and I agree. You guys are like family, so thank you so much.
Thank you both very much. And join me tomorrow as we're going to have a conversation with Miranda Young. There's a lot of stuff to talk about there. Thank you for joining me. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.
It's Brad Friedman, your friendly investigative blogger, journalist, and host of the Bradcast on AM 950, KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.